I'm Dr. Jordin Wiggins, and this is the Pleasure Principles podcast. Join me on this journey where sex, science, and sensuality meet. Let's change the conversation around sex and pleasure together. Hello. Have you ever realized that it is difficult or taboo to talk about sex? And it's also difficult and taboo to talk about money. We're going to talk about both today, making the connection between money and sex. It's a pattern I see very commonly with superwomen, high achievers. They go the extra mile. They're the fixers, doing things without being asked. Their issues with sex are the same as their issues with money. It has to do with the idea that we have to earn something to be worthy of it. We have to be nice to earn respect. We have to be the perfect wife or the perfect mother, perfect partner to earn love. We have to work the hardest to get what we deserve, the promotion, respect of our colleagues. And this is one of my favorite ones, but we have to pretend, perform, put on a show in the bedroom in order to earn good sex. We know you have bought the lingerie, you make the porn noises, not because it turns you on, but because you're trying to earn or perform for your partner. And it is because of this pattern that superwomen are burnt out and they're stuck in unfulfilling relationships, having unfulfilling sex. Their roommates or teammates are we're really good everywhere except the bedroom. I hear that often. Women are still underpaid. Women are less likely to negotiate their salary. They take the first number they're offered, while men are 8 times more likely to negotiate a higher amount. Interestingly, during the pandemic, 73% of women have not asked for a raise. And we can look at similar statistics about how we are accepting less in the bedroom. If you want to check back to episode 13 of my podcast on the orgasm gap, there's more on it. But briefly, 40% of women had an orgasm the last time they had sex, and 80% of men did in heterosexual couples. So we're accepting less cash money, less pleasure, less orgasms. And that's what I want to talk about more today, because when we do a little work and figure out one thing, this was happening all the time with the women that I work with, we are figuring out the sex, the turn on, the asking for what we want in the bedroom, knowing what turns us on, not performing and doing things just because they feel good, having more sex, better sex, more connected sex. And then all of a sudden they start earning more money, getting raises, family sending them money. And I've worked with thousands of women, and it was just too big of a pattern to ignore. We have been taught to chase the wrong goals. Sold the idea that the harder we work, the more we take care of everyone, overwork ourselves, the more we'll earn, the better we are, the more payoff we will see. They told us this, society told us this about our education, our careers, our marriages, being a parent, about promotions, about the bigger house, the nicer car. And we go through life checking all these boxes, and we are left extremely, extremely unfulfilled and alone. Even if we're surrounded by family, we feel alone on the inside, wondering why we're not as happy as we used to be. Oftentimes, women will say to me that their partner misses the version of them that they met when they were first dating. And the truth is, they miss themselves. They know that something is off, but they're not quite sure how to communicate it. And the books you are reading, the courses you are taking, the coaches that you have hired are just, they're not quite fixing it. You might not even know what you're missing, but if you've been searching for answers for why you're so successful in your career, but lacking in other areas, why your libido's low, why you feel so burnt out, overworked, why you're snappy and irritated all the time, why you can't lose the weight you want to lose, why you're exhausted but you can't sleep at night. You take care and run the show at work and at home, but you can't figure out how to take care of yourself the way you want to. You are in the right place. Maybe your relationship is on the brink of divorce, or you're missing the days of connection and intimacy that you once had. If you long for the spark and connection and you want to feel like yourself again, that radiant, turned on woman, then I have the solution for you. Work with me, Dr. Jordin Wiggins, naturopathic doctor, sex educator, and feminine burnout coach, in my executive one-on-one coaching program to learn how to receive pleasure for better sex, better health, and more wealth. I promise you, they are all connected. I work with women to teach them how to receive pleasure and to open to all of the possibilities that this life has to offer you in health, wealth, and love. Because you deserve success across the board in your life. Finally, find the secret that was missing from all the work that you've done before and understand why you are so successful at work, but lack the spark and connection you long for in your relationships. When you learn how to receive pleasure and learn what was holding you back, you unlock possibilities in every area of your life. Suddenly, you can receive compliments, trust, acceptance, friendships, money. You know how to take better care of yourself, and you receive the praise, acknowledgement, help, and support that you've always wanted, but didn't know how to get. Everything comes when you learn how to receive and adopt a pleasure mindset as a way of being. My executive coaching program gives you exclusive access to me in person or via video chat, and my years of experience of working with thousands of women, Eastern medicine theories, and practical everyday ways to apply the work to see real growth in your life and relationships. Get the support you need to repair your relationships, start having mind-blowing sex, and open to the possibilities of what great pleasure means to you. Revolutionize your relationships and build the abundant future that you, your relationships, and your loved ones deserve. Click the link in the show notes or visit my page on Instagram at Dr. Jordin Wiggins to learn more about my coaching packages. So you're stuck and you give up, you're stuck, you settle for less. We're settling for less money, we're settling for less orgasms, and also by the same token, blaming ourselves and wondering why we are miserable. A little secret, your relationship with money is the same as your relationship with sex. And like I mentioned, I saw this first with myself and then with the thousands of women that I work with. We have the same hangups. For example, many of the women that I work with make 3 times as much as their partners, but they are worried about spending $500 on biomedical testing for their hormones. They're worried about making the career change that will make their heart sing, but maybe has a little less security. They're worried about truly surrendering in sex because she doesn't feel safe. Um, and there's more on that on episode 37. But when we don't feel safe and we're doing what we think we should do, we're performing. We're checking the sex box like we check the education box. Maybe we orgasm, but we know our heart, we're longing for more. We're longing for that connection. The way that we want to be desired, the way that we want to be seen, the way that we want to like relax and be opened. We've been so conditioned away from our wants, our desires, that we make decisions based on what we think the other person would want, and it leaves us so unfulfilled. Like a restaurant choice. If you are picking a restaurant to go to with a date or with a group of friends, are you thinking about where you want to go? What would make you really happy? Or are you thinking about what everyone else would like? We do things in the bedroom based on how we think we will look or if we are doing it right. And I'll tell you, if you're trying to do sex right, you are not experiencing maximum pleasure for you or your partner. So I want to let you in on a little something that happened. I had a retreat with the Feminine Mentorship ladies a few weeks ago. We talked about our deepest desires and our fears and how we can have anything that we want in life if we learn to get out of our own way and stop being scared of our power. And then something magical happened. The participants were messaging me after saying, oh my God, the sex that we had when I got home. This was true for many of the attendees, and we weren't even talking about sex. And they were having better sex. So why is that? Money and sex have something in common that we superwomen need, something that superwomen suck at. And what it has in common is safety and security. It's hard to talk about sex. We've been taught, don't talk about it. Sex is something that you do, not something that you communicate about. And we wonder why 1 in 2 women has sexual dysfunction globally. And it's also hard to talk about money. Not to talk about money, that it's tacky to discuss salaries, or your rich people are evil, or if you want things, expensive things, that somehow makes you bad or vain or something like that. So it's better to keep guessing at sex, guessing about money, and accepting less than be honest and accept more. So money and sex, talking about them brings up fear, insecurity, safety issues. So at the retreat, we worked through some fears that we had had since childhood, and we had better sex. Let's link this more for you. Most superwomen I know are burnt out. They are functionally depressed. So they're doing their shit, they're handling their day-to-day, they're going to work, but they are not happy. They're lacking joy, they're lacking turn on, they're exhausted. They don't know how to rest. So their sympathetic nervous system is in fight or flight. It's in overdrive. Even when they are sleeping, they're still wired. If they wake up, their brains are automatically on, thinking about all the things they need to do. They're waking up, they're not rested, even if they do get a full night's sleep. If you're one of the lucky ones that gets a full night's sleep. Now, We need this protection mechanism. Our stress response is there to tell us to take our hand off a hot stove or not to step out in front of a car. But we are not meant to live in this stressed out state all the time. It turns off the pleasure centers in our brain, and we start making decisions to protect ourselves. We cannot relax. We cannot open. We cannot lubricate. We cannot ask for what we want for fear it will be withheld, taken away, and we think that it's better to protect ourselves to just not ask and do things ourselves. So we get stuck in survival mode. Stress is in overdrive all the time instead of being in the zone with our nervous systems mentally and physically, where we can relax and receive. We're constantly in a state of stress and worry, overstimulated with the news, notifications on our phone, emails. If you step back and really think about it, it's wild that people have access to us 24 hours a day, that we're never disconnected anymore, that you're just a text away. And we haven't changed the conditioning to have to meet everyone else's needs, especially before our own. And this becomes a huge problem for superwomen. And we also have more access to others' needs than ever before. Everything changes when we learn to break this conditioning. Good sex, intimacy, and yes, even more money. I'll never forget a woman who signed up for Pleasure Principles, our group coaching program. She was hesitant about spending the money on herself, investing in her health. Her husband was not on board, told her that it was pointless, even though he wanted more sex, better sex. She trusted her gut and joined anyway. Not even a week into the program, she ended up getting a raise that tripled the cost of the program. She finished the program with more money in her bank account than when she started. And half of the women in Pleasure Principles start new jobs, negotiate pay raises, receive unexpected bonuses, because it's more than just about sex. Everything comes and changes when you learn to receive, when you slow down and allow people in, allow them to help you, allow them to give to you. When you're constantly fighting against what you deserve, trying to earn every cent, every drop of love, of course it's a struggle. Of course you're burnt out and you're just not in a state to be accepting of, well, I'm just going to say it. When we can open and be able to receive, it's like sex. A vulva, when it is relaxed, invites in penetration. If somebody places a finger on the opening of your vulva and just rests it there gently, a vulva ready to be penetrated will draw you in, invite you in. Only if she feels safe, only if she is in the state to be relaxed and turned on. So many women have been having penetrative sex their whole lives, but they're not in a relaxed enough state for. And anatomically, our vulvas, our clitorises engorge and make orgasm easier when we are in a relaxed, pleasurable, receiving state of mind. The reason that you can't leave the dishes in the sink, need to re-record a video, rewrite an email a few times before you send or publish it, is the same reason why you are protecting yourself from your money. When we are in fear, when we are in sympathetic scarcity mindset, burnout, we protect ourselves the same way from like sex or penetration as money. And it's not just for you. If you shift your mindset and start to receive, your energy shifts in your life too. One of my participants' husbands even got a raise for the first time in years, days after she mentioned that this was a desire at our retreat. She let go of the struggle, opened her mind to receiving and other options, and bam, he got called in and was given a raise. Another just got a huge unexpected return on her taxes that was able to pay for a trip she's been desiring without a single cent of her savings. When you approach money, sex, love from a place of abundance and pleasure, when you truly believe that there is more than enough to go around, your good finds you. Call it anything you want, manifesting, faith, energy, vibes, it does not matter. It's what we need to tap into as women to access the parts of ourselves that we have been denying, that well of energy, that turn on, that desire, that feminine practice of love, trust, acceptance, flow, all of the things that we have been conditioned away from our entire lives. That is the way back to ourselves. It's how we break the feminine burnout cycle and live full, happy, healthy, wealthy lives. And that is what is meant for you. For every woman that is overworking, overfunctioning, and feeling lost, alone, and depressed, there is a better way. So in the end, sex and money really aren't so different. They are both things that we have been taught we have to earn. But the truth is, we already deserve them. The work is believing that it will come to you. Knowing that you deserve it, that it is already yours. We just need to work on getting you in a pleasurable enough state to be able to receive it. So if you are ready to do the work, you can apply to work with me one-on-one at thepleasuredcollective.com/coaching. Have a great week, everybody. If you like what you heard in this episode, leave me a rating. Your support helps me get discovered by more women like you. Together, we can change the conversation around women's sexual health and pleasure for you, your partners, and generations to come.